What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sideline Summit NFL Draft Special, where I, Antonio Perez, and Danny Cole, DC, UPenn's finest, we're going to mock the entire first round. This is coming out at 3 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, the draft is like 7 hours away, so hopefully no shenanigans, no trades, anything happens in between now and then.
I don't know
But
why you said hopefully. I hope there is a couple of shenanigans to throw a little
I
monkey
will,
wrench in here.
yeah, but they're going to mess up this mock, this beautiful mock, because this is 100% what is happening tonight.
This is
Um,
accurate. This is
yeah,
accurate.
this is where unfortunately we are leaking what's going to happen.
We have the
Like
script,
we're chef,
as people
yeah,
would say.
as one would say. But let's just get right into things. Danny has the PFF premium. Shout out to him. So Danny's got the odd picks. I got the even picks. If you want to make a trade, we both got to mutually agree on it.
Well,
Or
if I'm trading
PFF
up
got to
to like two,
PFF got to approve it. Yeah.
exactly. First overall, no brainer. Panthers take Bryce Young.
Yeah, that's as easy as it gets. Reports came out Texans are not in on Richardson or Levis, but they never said CJ Stroud. That will be my pick at number 2.
That's a great pick. CJ Stroud, probably the second best quarterback in college football last year, besides
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams. So, man, you can't go wrong with these top guys. I don't care about this S2 test. Give me the guy who can play
Mm-hmm.
football.
Yeah, I agree. As Cordero Patterson once said, we go to school to play football, not to play school.
Exactly. And here's where I think things get a little interesting. I think the Seattle Seahawks trade pick number 5 and pick number 37 to jump the Indianapolis Colts and go get their quarterback of the future in Anthony Richardson.
I like that one. And the Cardinals, I don't know. I think a first and second will be good. I think moving back 2 spots, knowing what the next 2 picks are going to be, I think that's really good. That puts me in a situation with the Colts, though. You're at 4, but you need a quarterback. You do need a quarterback, and I think regardless, even though I have a mid round grade on them, I think they'll take quarterback from Kentucky, Will Levis.
Yeah, I have a mid-ground grade on him as well. Unfortunately for him, it's just really rough. And I mean, I think he'll thrive in an Indianapolis Colts team where, man, they have let's just say, a pretty decent head coach who knows how to run an offense, as we saw
Yeah,
last year.
yeah,
The
I
Eagles,
agree.
the Eagles and Colts literally just traded offensive coordinator, head coach, offensive coordinator, head coach. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a pipeline. It's a
Yeah,
pipeline for sure. But you're back on the clock again with the Cardinals, as they did trade back in this mock draft to number 5.
yeah. I think this
They don't
pick, they take BPA and they take Will Anderson. Some people might think Jalen Carter's the best
BPA
player available.
minus personality issues.
Exactly. The Cardinals, they don't have really the ability to take a risk on someone like Jalen Carter because they're not in this win now mode. But some
Mhm.
other teams, they might.
Yeah, and Lions got expectations. They need someone who's going to impact it right away. I will have them taking Jalen Carter off the board here.
I like that. I think that Dan Campbell can come in and fix the character issues and implement because they have that team structure. Um,
Hmm. They
you
got
didn't hear
culture, man.
anything. Here's the thing: you didn't hear anything wrong about Jalen Carter until this incident. You didn't hear that he's a bad teammate. You didn't hear that X, Y, and Z. We made one mistake at the age of 22. Granted, it's a big mistake, but he
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, absolutely.
He's allowed to recover. He's allowed to improve in life.
Hmm.
I like that pick.
Yeah, I agree, and that is like truly best player available at number 6, and that's going to be huge for them. Pair him with Aiden Hutchinson. That's going to be quite the duo. Now you have the Raiders on the clock, who would really want a quarterback, but you're definitely not reaching Hooker this early. So I'm interested to see what you're going to do with the Raiders.
I think the Raiders are actually completely all in on Jimmy Garoppolo for whatever reason. Um,
Locked into mediocre, I guess, but yeah,
I think the Raiders make a really Raiders pick and take Devin Witherspoon.
I like that. I mean, I like that pick.
Here's the thing: I said a really Raiders pick and take Witherspoon. Witherspoon, I love him as a player. He's a hard hitter. He's a solid coverage corner, but I just don't think he's best corner in the draft. I think he's clear number 2.
Well, I mean, you can make the argument for either or, and this is where I'll have the next corner coming off in
Christian Gonzalez.
Gonzalez out
Yeah.
of Oregon. Pretty easy pick for me. I mean, I don't know how. Like, I mean, yeah, you trade for Jeff Okuda, he hasn't had a good start to his career, and AJ Terrell has been. I don't want to say hit or miss, but definitely wasn't that 2021 self that he was. Was looking more like that LSU or that Clemson version of himself against LSU. But you are back on the clock with the team that did have the number one overall pick, but now has number 9, the Chicago Bears.
I think the Chicago Bears decide to trade back once again, and this time it's with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, I think they've traded pick number 9 for 17, pick number 80, and a future fifth round pick. This is very similar to what the Steelers traded to jump 20 to 10 for Devin Bush. They traded from 20 to 10. They traded 20 and pick number 52. So 20, 17, 80, and a fifth kind of makes a little sense. With no quarterbacks left on the board, it's not really a premium pick. I think this offer, this trade, it'll go through on PFF. They accept. And I think the Steelers jump up and go get their guy in Joey Porter Jr.
I think they could have sat and got Porter, but I mean,
I think that there's I think the teams like the Washington Jets and the Patriots, or maybe even like there's just too many teams right here that might take a skill position. And I think the Steelers, Omar Khan is his first draft ever. He's going to be aggressive and try to go get somebody.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, one thing about Steelers is they're going to go get their guys. And
If
Porter,
they want him,
obviously son of a former Steeler, I could definitely see it happening. Now at 10,
I believe Porter's still on the coaching staff, right?
I believe I'm not sure because Flores was your linebacker coach. So yeah, I have no clue. But now with the Eagles, a lot of people want them to have Bijan Robinson. I'm not a dork. I would love I'd accept the pick. I'd like them. But the Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl. Like, we aren't this unbeatable team that can just go draft whatever we want. And this is the 10th pick. This ain't the luxury pick. 31 or 30 is the luxury pick, not number 10. And number 10, I would like to beef up our edge game. Brandon Graham's getting older, and I'm a huge fan of this guy. I don't really care about his weight. He was like a historic run defender. Danny knows where I'm going. I want Nolan Smith out of Georgia. Pair him with Davis and Dean. We're literally building the Philadelphia Bulldogs. I want Nolan Smith. I don't care about his size. He can flat out play. And no one gets sacks in the Georgia defense. It's too many good guys getting in rotation, and he was the best run defender in college football. So give me Nolan Smith. Appreciate it, man.
I'm a big Nolan Smith advocator. I think let's look at the top 10 picks right now. We got Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Witherspoon Gonzalez, Porter. 3 straight corners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then
the corner and it's good. This class is good.
Class is very good.
But now you're on the board. The Tennessee
I think
Titans.
the Titans have realized that they're not going to reach for Hendon Hooker here. It's very reach. I think Hendon Hooker could go at the end of the first round, possibly, as his prognosis is he's getting healthier, very faster. The Titans need wide receiver, as PFF says, but I think they're also realized they're not in a win now mode. They know what's going on. Give me Peter Skronsky to the Titans, which I'm a fan of. I think he's solid.
No, I mean he could either be a good tackle or a great guard, and
exactly.
I think that beats up their O-line that got pretty banged up last year. Now I'm at 12 with the Houston Texans, and
I know where you're going, man.
They need D-line. No, I'm giving. You just got Stroud. Let's go get his buddy. Give me Jackson Smith-Njigba. I mean, it's like this Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase type of thing. Just make your guy happy.
Okay, here's one thing I will tell you though. If JSN is on the board after pick 10, so if he's on the board at 11, look for the Packers to jump the Texans to get up to 11.
I'd love it. I would love it.
I'm not going to project that trade, but because I haven't heard that the Packers love JSN, but I look for the Packers to go jump and get JSN. You took JSN at 12, correct?
Yes, I took JSN at 12 to pair him with his buddy at Ohio State, CJ Stroud. It's a very quick way to make your guy happy. And
Yeah, I
now
think
you're on the clock.
that's a phenomenal pick. I
You're
think
on
it's
the
clear
clock with
the
the
Packers need
Packers.
to go get a weapon for Jordan Love. They need to help their guy. I think the Packers are going to start panicking. They're going to say, we don't have many guys scouted outside of JSN and maybe a couple other guys. I'm going to go get Jordan Addison.
I like that you went Addison and not Johnston because I think Watson and Johnson have a very similar game, and I
They
think
do.
your wide receiver room needs it
They
needs
need the
pairing,
finesse. It needs
and
finesse.
I really like that Addison pick. I think his stock fell a little bit with his I guess
4.5 40. Oh
under
my God, he's so
the
slow.
the 40 and the underwhelming season at USC, but I mean he was like the best wide receiver like in the country just
I believe he won the
last
Blitnikoff
season.
last year. So he's
Exactly. So what are we talking about now at Patriots? Patriots need a receiver. They just watched the two guys go off the board here. Now, if we want to talk about they need a weapon heavily. I don't think they'll reach Bijan. I do think they will run with a guy we talked about in a previous episode. I think they'll pick Michael Mayer. They need someone. They need a
do they though?
dominant weapon.
They just traded they just got picked up they have Hunter Henry, they have Mike Gesicki.
And I still think he's a better weapon than all of them, in my opinion. Um, like
So
this is
I agree with you.
I don't
I
know how
like that
much
a
12
lot.
personnel they run, but
Bro,
I
this is
also
a
think this is a
Belichick
Bill pick.
pick. This is such a Bill
Exactly,
pick, bro.
exactly.
I was
Remember
thinking about this
The
for the
Bears had
longest
nine
time.
tight ends. The Bears had 9 tight ends on their roster at one point a couple years ago. So,
Who is that with
um,
your boy Trey Burton?
yes, sir. Through a Super Bowl touchdown pass, something Dak Prescott can't relate to.
He can't. And I think the Jets see this and they're like, Paris Johnson is still on the board. I am
Yeah,
licking my chops, man.
yeah. That's a steal at 15, in my opinion. You could also maybe see that go with the Patriots, but I did like Mayer there, and I love Johnson for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you're back on the clock with the Washington Commanders.
And
Josh Harris's Washington Commanders.
I've seen Theo Ash put Hooker to 16. Bucky Brooks from NFL Network put Hooker to 16. I'm not going to go that way. I see their vision. I'm not going to go that way though. But where do you go? I mean, quarterback's their number one need. I think they're going to rock with Sam Howell. Are any
Bro,
guards in cent?
I think Hooker is legitimately like 2 years younger than Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's more like a keep Rivera in the building pick, but I think here the Commanders need some beef on the inside. I think your best shot is Terrence out of Florida. I think that's probably your best
Osiris
pick.
Torrance.
Yeah, Osiris Torrance out of Florida. I blanked on the first name for a second. Sorry, but
They're good.
I think they'll go there. Beef up the interior line a little bit. At least give Sam Howell a shot. Um, with a beefy O line. But now you're back on the clock with what would be the Steelers is now the Chicago Bears, who have been
I think
racking up the
Chicago
picks.
Bears. They got a good deal here. I think they actually take Broderick Jones out of Georgia.
I love that
Go
one.
go protect Justin Fields. He's arguably the best tackle in the draft. Him and Paris Johnson. They're really. I mean, if you're considering Skronsky as a guard, then these two guys are the best tackles in the draft. So
Yeah, I like that one. But I'm back on the board with the Lions. And as you can see, they got wide receiver, tight end, D line. They just traded Hawkinson last season. I'm gonna have them taking Dalton Kincaid, who has risen, who's been climbing the boards. NFL teams love him, and I think this would be a good pick for Campbell and the crew. So I
Well,
like
looking back
Kincaid.
at the Lions, Jalen Carter and Dalton Kincaid would be a W draft for the Lions, man.
I love that one. Now you unfortunately have to draft for the Buccaneers, who are for a team this bad to have this low of a pick. It's unreal, man. But I'm interested to see who you take.
Yeah, the Bucks are in a really, really bad situation. You don't have the luxury of taking a wide receiver. You don't have the luxury of taking a tight end. Um, I think Kate Otton's actually a pretty solid tight end for the Buccaneers they drafted last year. Um, I think the Bucks go a very way where they say we have our Kyle Trask, we have who maybe a quarterback will draft in later rounds. I'm
And
gonna
they got
go get
Mayfield.
I'm gonna go get Darnell Wright to protect him.
And I like that pick. And he's a guy who, because of the Tennessee offense, he didn't have to protect deep drops, so maybe he is able to play guard for them as well. He's an interesting pick, or an interesting prospect. I do like the pick there. But now I'm back on the board with Seattle, who took Anderson already. But they could also use some interior help. I'm conflicted. I think Kalijah Cansey's very good. I do have my concerns in the run game. Um, but I think I'll go. I think I'll have them going double D line here and picking Kalijah Cansey.
I like that. Taking Kalijah
Did
Cansey and pairing him with Anthony Richardson.
or oh right, I no, we had them with.
I had them trading up to get a Rich.
Oh yeah, that's right. I read it wrong. Yeah, Richardson, and then you get yourself a pass rusher. Yeah. My fault. That's me. That's me.
You're
All
good.
right, but yeah, I mean, it still works out in the end. I did a couple mocks where I had Cansey and Carter going there, so you have
Yeah.
like a run stuffer, then a pass rusher, like how I imagine Cansey with the Eagles with Jordan Davis. But nonetheless, you're on the clock with
I
the
think it's
Los Angeles
clear
Chargers.
the LA Chargers were on thin ice with their cornerbacks in the last few years. They had a guy that played safety playing corner for them last year. He played a pretty good job. He locked up Tyreek Hill. But you can't have that happen. Go get Deontay Banks. I think he's one of the most underrated prospects. He could be a top 10 pick in this draft, but he just fell to 21, and the Chargers should be very happy.
Yeah, and that leaves me with the Baltimore Ravens, who need a whole lot of stuff, and
Yeah, they do.
they do need a receiver. I don't know. I know
I know who
I'm
they
gonna
want.
go.
I know who they want.
I'm
I'll let you make your pick, but I'll tell you who I think they're getting after this.
Well, I think with Campbell out the building, their lack of pass rush, I think they're just gonna have to go best edge available and maybe go Miles Murphy.
Okay, I like that. I think they're taking Zay Flowers here. He's a marquee Hollywood
I
Brown.
was I was in between on that. I could definitely see that as well.
He's
But
a
he could
Hollywood
also fit.
Brown clone. He's a clone of Hollywood Brown.
However, with your pick with the Vikings, I mean, outside of Jefferson and a little bit of KJ Osborne, they could use a guy like Zay Flowers or Josh Downs, depending on your
Now,
preference.
I think they could use a guy like Quentin Johnston more.
I feel Jefferson runs the outs. I mean, if that's your pick, that's your pick. But I feel like Jefferson controls the outside a little more. Um,
I
but I mean,
disagree with you. I think Quentin Johnston's the pick for them, and I'll give you a reason why. So Quentin Johnston uh, he can play the outside, right? Zay Flowers more slots as a slot receiver. Justin Jefferson was a slot receiver in college. He can play both inside and out. And O'Connell knows that. He knows that Jefferson can play all around. Why not go get your outside go get it type receiver and let Jefferson do everything else?
I guess that's one way to look at it. You can go like the Cooper Cup route, just have a solidified outside guy, then let your one guy line up everywhere and do it. I guess you could look at it that way. But I'm
That's
on
the
the
way I'm looking
clock.
at it.
I'm on the clock with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm gonna go with Emmanuel Forbes. I'm gonna pair him with blanking on the name here. Uh, you know what I'm talking about. But
Tyson
yeah,
Campbell.
yes, Tyson Campbell. Pair Forbes with him, and suddenly you got a pretty good corner duo that that'll hold up in the AFC because you're gonna need it this year. Now you're on the clock with the Giants.
Yeah. So I think this is a very, very unique situation. We saw the Giants saw Zay Flowers is on the board. Josh Downs is on the board. I don't know if the Giants really see Zay Flowers as a number one wide receiver.
No, I
So
don't
I don't
either.
think the Giants take him here. I don't think he. I think the Giants look at this and say the Cowboys don't need a wide receiver that much. The Bills don't. The Bengals don't. The Saints could use him, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to propose one more trade in this draft. I think the Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles are sitting here saying, I want Bijan. He's still on the board. I'm going to propose a trade to you. I think you might need to look over this. I think the Eagles send 30, 94, and a future fourth round pick for 25.
Look, I ain't Howie. I'm not Howie, so I don't know how he'll respond to this, but I'm saying no. I'm not giving up several assets for just like I would not want to draft a running back in the first round if I'm the Eagles at all, because I mean, like, anyone can run behind the line. So I will respectfully decline the trade to draft up for a running back, because that's bizarre to me. And I know Bijan's really good, but I'm starting to think people are getting a little in over their heels on that one.
Yo, I saw the craziest mock earlier. They said the Eagles are taking Drew Sanders at 10.
Oh God.
I think people
We'll
are like
see.
smoking some weed this morning. But
Maybe.
no, if you're declining that, I think the Giants do go with Zay Flowers if the
Fair
Eagles
enough.
don't want to trade up. I think he is a very good, solid wide receiver. I think they should be happy to get him at 25. And pairing, the only problem is they have other guys that are just like him, and they drafted other guys just like him every year. Kadarius Toney, they got Wandell Robinson. They draft every year. They get a guy that's like quick, shifty and fast. It's just
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, hopefully he's the guy that can break through along with Hodgins, who showed some promise last year. Now I'm on the board with the Cowboys. I told you all the time that I just don't like. I don't think they need a running back, as Pollard's on the tag, and I think Zeke is still like in contention to come back to him. But after the news of Jerry Jones saying, "Well, 4 was too high for him," I don't know how they're working. This is where I'll have Bijan Robinson coming off the board and
yo.
going, staying in the state of Texas.
You know what we're saying, man? We no one has realized Tyree Wilson is not gone yet.
Because he's not like he's good, like he's good and he has raw potential, but he's like 24. He's like the Will Levis of the edge rushers. Like, he's so old, but he's just not polished whatsoever.
Yeah, but I think he
Um
goes here actually to the Bills. The Bills.
and I like that. And I like that. That's good value considering this dude isn't talked to go number 2 overall.
I think that's bullshit. I think it's outrageous that people think that Tyree Wilson is going number 2 overall. If he
Yeah.
does go 2 overall, brother in Christ, you are Trayvon Walker.
And no, I mean, he does have insane potential. If you draft him, you do believe in your coaching staff and all that, but come on.
Same thing with Trayvon though. Trayvon has really good potential. Will he hit it? No, maybe. We don't know.
Yeah, safe to say. But I have the Bengals, both the the top tight ends are off the board. I don't see them reaching for Darnell this early. They need a DB. They just lost both their safeties. I think it's only right that Brian Branch comes off the board now.
That's a great pick. I believe they took Dax Hill last year. He's safety corner type guy. Brian Branch is going to fill in with the duo. Yeah, the Saints are on the clock. They got a lot. They need like a lot. They could use a guard. They could use a tackle. They could use anything on the offensive line. But I think they take a defensive lineman, take Lucas Van Ness. He has a lot of raw potential. This is like most teams picking at 29, 30, 31 are luxury picks. The Saints are not picking a luxury pick. They're picking.
They got a draft to like hit. They have to
Yeah.
draft to hit. And I was telling you that there's so many teams in this back end that are so far from competing. They have so many needs, but they're drafting so late in a draft where like their needs aren't deep. Now I'm back on the clock with them Philadelphia Eagles, and we got our edge rusher. We took Nolan Smith. Now, where we're in parity is that, or where we're in like we have an issue, is that I don't think Gibbs is a first round back, but they also don't take tackles in the first round. So I don't know, but I like Anton Harrison so much
Wait. They have
that
taken tackles in the first round. They've taken a couple.
no, the last time they've taken a tackle in the first round was Lane Johnson.
Andre Dillard.
Didn't work out.
It did not work out,
So,
but they did take him in the first round.
but I mean, outside of them two, my point stands.
Yeah,
They usually draft their guys in the second or third day and work them out. But this might as well be a second round pick. I have them taking Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma. I'm a huge
I
fan of
think
his.
he's a great guy. I like him and Dewan Jones. I think they're pretty equal. Dewan Jones, I think he's a bigger dude. I think they already got their like power guy, Malata. So getting your more like finesse, getting run space type guy, the Harrison,
Yeah,
still a big guy, but like
just someone to fill in for Lane once it's all said and done. But you're on the pick with the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. And are you looking to go to receiver over tackle here? No, like receiver over tackle here.
yeah, I'm really torn. The Chiefs could go receiver, they could go tackle.
Now this is like even and then this is the thing. Even them as the best team in the league, they still got needs.
Yeah,
They
they are the
still
best
can't
team
be
in the
like,
league.
oh, let like they learned their lesson from 2 years ago. They're like they beat the Niners in the Super Bowl and like, oh, let's troll. Let's take Clyde
Clyde
Edwards
Edwards.
Helaire with the first, and it came back to bite him in the ass. And then they learned. I'm like, all right, Isaiah Pacheco, 7th round running back. We just won the Super Bowl with him. Let's not troll. Let's get a need, and both are needs. I'm not telling you like draft one or the other. I think both would be phenomenal picks depending on who you pick for wide receiver. But
Yeah, I think that I think I was thinking about this for a while. The Chiefs could go wide receiver, but they also have this ideology that let's just sign a bunch of guys for like $2 million a year and let them run routes, and then let's just let Patrick Mahomes sit behind a great wall.
yeah,
So they're gonna go get a guy who's 6'8", 350 pounds, an athletic freak, not the best run blocker, but he's a hell of a pass blocker. He was C.J. Stroud's front side, not blind side. Go get Dewan Jones. Finish off the first round.
well, and there you have it. Now that wraps up the Sideline Summit NFL mock draft. Take a look as Danny's scrolling. Just to note out a few things that, Tyree Wilson, who's could be a projected top 3 pick, doesn't go all the way until the late rounds. The Steelers are jumping up to grab Joey Porter Jr. in Danny's mock, which I think they could sit back for that. But again, we'll see. Mock drafts, draft night's full of surprises. Carter goes to 6. And what's another thing I should have thought of? I wasn't thinking about this, and this is why I need to be more aggressive. Carter fell past 5. If he falls past 5, he's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle, in my opinion. Because Howie's been on the phones apparently, even talking with the Cardinals at 3. He been talking like I think if they were to if they get Jalen Carter, I'm gonna be having a good night.
Here's what I'll tell you.
I'm gonna be having
I'll
a
tell you
real good
this.
night. I'll say that.
I You said the Eagles take Nolan Smith. I know you want to pair him up with all the Georgia boys.
It's probably
I wouldn't be
probably
surprised to
have
see that. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tyree Wilson and Nolan Smith switch spots in the draft.
Hey, and I completely get it. I think Smith like 10 is really high for Smith, and I completely get that. Um, but I really really like this player. Like, um, I don't know if a lot of Eagles fans will agree, but I think this is a good spot for him. And even then, I think a lot of the JSN trade room or JSN to like the Eagles rumors, I think that could be bait for one of those like early like teens picks to trade up, and then potentially the Eagles, at 14 or 15, whatever it is, drafting Nolan Smith makes so much more sense, and you gain assets in the process. But that was our first round pick, Danny. You already know it's been a blast. We got out of here relatively quick. We probably could have ran this in the episode, but this was super fun. Guys, please like, subscribe, watch the latest episode. You'll find it on the channel here, of course. And if you like to listen to your podcast on podcast platform, it's going to be in the bio. Make sure you go check that out. We are on the road to 200 subs, so make sure you leave a sub wherever you're at. And guys, enjoy the draft. Enjoy the draft because it's been a ride. It's been such a ride. And the only thing you should do is enjoy it all. Enjoy every pick. Don't slander your team right away because they didn't draft the guy you wanted. Maybe put yourself in their shoes, unless they make some bona fide pick,
If the
like
Eagles taking
like
Lucas Van
Raylan
Ness,
Jaeger in a couple years ago. But
if the Eagles
um,
take Lucas Van Ness at 10, how happy would you be?
eh, I wouldn't be too happy. I'll admit. But I get it. But like, it's so boring. It's so boring. I think he's a couple years away. That's what I'll say. But I want a guy who's going to impact now. If we take Bijan, I will be happy. I will be getting his jersey. Don't worry. I probably get whoever we draft tonight. I'm probably getting their jersey. Like
Like it.
probably. And I still
Yo,
got to get an
I don't know if you
I still got to
saw.
get an AJ Brown. I still got to get my
They're
Smitty.
calling it B John.
Yeah, for that reasoning, I'm out. I am out. But again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, watch our latest episode, leave a download on our latest episode. Danny, anything to say before we get on out of here?
Nah, this mock draft is pretty different than actually what I thought. The Washington Commanders taking a guard is the most Washington Commanders thing I've ever seen.
I think they need the beef inside. I think they do.
Let Brian Robinson run off him. I like that.
Yeah, and we saw against the Eagles, their run game has potential. So don't go don't bail on those backs just yet. Just build up the line, and it could go well. One thing we forgot to mention is that the Kansas City Chiefs will be drafting Jake Haener with the last pick of the first round, because he makes those Mahomes-esque plays. But with that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed, and we will catch you next week for our episode. And keep up with the content, man. We'll keep up. We're posting daily. We're posting everywhere. And again, thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week.